Two of us together in perfect harmony.
Just the two of us. Mm. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
Wow!
The two of us.
You and that. Okay, that's definitely staying in.
You will never ever get me singing on a recording ever again.
I got you.
One-time opportunity.
I've got you talking about sausages before in a very sexual manner.
Oh, I'm sure you probably have.
That's saved as a blooper somewhere.
There are way too many things I've accidentally forgotten that we were recording at the time of saying. I'm sure.
Okay, well, we do have the draft starting. It is on Sky Temple.
Oh, right. Let's see, I'm just going to put it out there now. Please, can somebody pick Vikings? I want to see Vikings so bad. But it's not happening. I don't know about you, I've not seen any games with Vikings in yet.
No, me neither. I don't know if they've been universally banned from tournaments.
Ooh, tell a lie. There was... I haven't seen it yet, but I need to find it. But I can't remember what tournament it was in, but there was something I was watching the other day where they mentioned that earlier on in the tournament, Tempo Storm had played Lost Vikings.
Ooh.
And so I need to find if that was a casted game and watch that. But unfortunately, I don't know which one it is yet, so I will have to look into it.
Okay, so
right
now, yeah, mouse control, banning out the Illidan again. I don't know, did they ban it like the first game? Missed the draft because my computer crashed.
I want to say it was Twisted Fusion that banned it last game.
A lot of priority of banning that Illidan. He's very strong as of recent patch. I mean, not much of him has changed. It's just things that are particularly good against him aren't as good anymore. For example, right wing.
The only actual arguable improvement to him itself, like in a vacuum, taking out of account all the changes to everyone else, was the addition of Nexus Blades at 20, which isn't even the absolute be-all and end-all at 20.
No, I mean,
like,
if you're going to take the hunt, if you can take the hunt, then Nexus Blades is almost a must. I mean, Global Hunt isn't that good. But with Metamorphosis, you still see the majority of games that take the permanent Metamorphosis. I can't remember what.
I mean, and even Bolt of the Storm is still a reasonable option. In fact,
yeah.
As a hero, you can't really go wrong. Pick anything at 20, it'll be fine. They all seem reasonable. And then the Tyrant ban out of Twisted Fusion is unusual. I can't see I've seen Tyrant banned in a long time. But obviously, they decided mouse controls, Tyrant... Was it? Did mouse... Yeah, mouse control had Tyrant last game, didn't they? I guess they decided that's not something they want to play against here. And also, Tyrant is a very good pick on Sky Temple, because of course, Skyfall does cover an entire temple. And can really force you to back out of that if you want to live.
And we get that mouse control first pick hammer, useful for just sieging up, locking down a temple and defending that position, as well as just, well, you can just leave her, solo bottom, push that out. Even if you lose one of the temples, then you can gain that experience advantage.
She can do a lot of work at a temple or not at a temple, which I guess is probably the strongest place a hero can be.
Twisted Fusion eating into their bonus time pool a little bit to pick up that Vala, and what are we going to see as their second pick? Predictions. I think ETC.
Quite possible. They snapped up the ETC very early last game.
ETC's super strong.
It worked out well for them.
Super disrupting, especially I think on this map that I think I prefer stage dive to.
I do as well. Absolutely.
Being able to just soak bottom lane and then suddenly be anywhere you need to be.
You definitely get full value out of the global presence that you can get from an ability like stage dive. Being able to you could be able to solo a temple at bottom on your own, and then suddenly just go straight up to one of the top temples if suddenly needed. If you're needed to appear to change the tide of the fight, you can just soak a different lane, turn up to the temple if they need you. All the while you're just gaining extra experience, pushing down lanes, all of that sort of thing.
Again, Twisted Fusion eating into that time pool. They're really thinking about these first two picks, and they get that Nazebo. I think you'll see the ETC Uther pick up from mouse control here, quite probably.
I definitely think Uther seems like a strong pick. I mean, it's either going to be... I'd be very surprised to see them pick up a support that isn't Uther or Rhaegar. Those are like the main two. And Uther does a good job.
Versus like the Ravenous Spirit and the Strafe of both Nazebo and Vala. Muradin and ETC, I think, both perfectly viable for mouse control. I like to see them pick up their two stunners or two primary ways of stopping that Nazebo's Ravenous Spirit, like right now, in case Twisted Fusion pick it up.
I mean, you can do things with ETC if you're taking stage dive. You can stage dive into the back of the fight where the where the Nazebo is, and just drop straight on top of them to immediately interrupt it with a power slide or a knockback as soon as you fall.
That was one of the first games and uses of ETC I saw in the most recent patch. I can't remember what team did it, but basically they picked ETC to counter Nazebo. It was one of the first ETC picks competitively of the recent patch, and they just stage dive in and stop the Nazebo all the time, so quickly, so reliably. I mean, Nazebo couldn't do anything against it, the team couldn't do anything against it. Mouse Control would pick up the Rhaegar instead of the Uther, favouring that huge heal, as well as the control that comes with the slow and the lightning shield and the chain heal, AoE heals, and the healing totem. Rhaegar's just super good for healing.
Maybe they've got something else in mind, so they don't think that they need the stuns from Uther to deal with the Nazebo. Yeah. Maybe they are indeed going to go for the ETC.
Right now, on both teams, I'd like to see Tyrael. He's not picked up that often, but Tyrael's really good for singling out that hammer and helping blow up that hammer really quickly. Likewise, Tyrael, in combination with like Tassadar, are really good for finding that Nazebo and judgmenting him as soon as the Ravenous Spirit happens. So I think Tyrael would be a good pick for either team.
Definitely. The slight problem with Judgment for interrupting Nazebo is, of course, that you do actually have to be able to target them, and that's why someone like Tassadar can do a lot of work. Or even if they want to pick it up on mouse control, if the Rhaegar opts to go for Farsight at level 4, you can drop the Farsight down to scout the Nazebo, and then you're able to send the Judgment straight in. But instead, they are going to go for Stitches.
I was going to mention that. They like Stitches. I mean, Stitches worked out very well for Twisted Fusion last game, Putrid Bile being very strong.
Indeed, so that may be just as much a counter pick as it is
a denial pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Twisted Fusion, they still need their support, and they still need some sort of main tank. They pick up the Uther support,
no surprise
not unlikely, and they do get that ETC. Again, maybe even a denial pick from mouse control, but they were very comfortable on the ETC.
Definitely a good one to go with the Uther, just to create space for the Nazebo to be able to pop off his Ravenous Spirit, do whatever he wants, and to just stop anyone from being able to sit there and try and focus down the Vala, because she takes a lot of damage and dies very fast if you can't keep people away, but the amount of damage she can put out is outrageous.
Now, I actually think I'd like to see Vikings on Twisted Fusion to round up that team. Because
especially, I'd love to see Vikings, but I'm intrigued to know what your actual reasoning is.
I mean, Vikings can literally have one of them just soak in that bottom lane and have it be a 7 versus 4 or 7 versus 5 team fight, sort of and almost for those first couple. I mean, super strong. They already have a lot of damage. They already have tank ability. They already have their support. So why not go with another all-rounder, a versatile hero? Tanky because of the combined health bars, lots of damage with longboat, as well as just doing decent damage, as well as being able to get experience to bolster the rest of your team.
Although if I was going to go for as strong as ETC is, I think one of the really strong things about him on this map is that split push potential of being able to soak other lanes and then dive into the fight. And I think if I was going to take Vikings to do a very similar job, I'm not sure I would have gone for the ETC as my tank pickup. I
suppose, yeah. But it does leave his Storm ability pickup to be Mosh Pit potentially if we do see the Vikings.
Maybe, that is certainly possible.
Mouse control pick up the Tassadar, almost using up the rest of their time pool here, actually going for their last pick.
They're really thinking this one through.
Is it going to random? Oh no, it was a 2-second time pick on that Zeratul left. Maybe for just locking out the team. I mean, the Zeratul didn't necessarily work out that great for them last game, but it did do a lot of work. I think Zeratul pickup was one of their strongest players, one of their strongest playmakers of last game, despite being a loss. We'll have to see.
And you can definitely get a lot of work out of Void Prism on this map, because with the temples, people tend to be clustered up on those temples, and it can be quite easy to slip in and get a Void Prism with most of the team in it, and then
blow up whoever
good amount of follow-up for it, dropping storms on it, the Stitches slam, and the hammer just outputs so much damage.
Yeah, plus the huge amount of slows they can give with the Rhaegar totem, like you say, the slam with that mini stun and disrupt, maybe even Putrid Bile to slow people. You can just run around and dance the Void Prism.
Indeed. Yeah. who are we going to see last here from Twisted Fusion? They are going right to the end of their time, making the most of every second.
Prediction. Tychus.
Sure.
Tychus or Tyrael. Oh,
Tyrael.
yes! Oh, I called it. I knew it. I really wanted to see that Tyrael pick up this game.
Right, so we're going to see double tank out of Twisted Fusion.
Now, I did say Tyrael is particularly good at singling out that hammer, stunning him and blowing him up. We can also see that happen to the Rhaegar. But yeah, looking forward to this Tyrael pick.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it works out for
it's a shame we didn't see the Lost Vikings as we see on the loading screen here. Would have been great.
Unfortunate. One day I will get my wish. And we will see the Vikings pick.
We have Twisted Fusion here on the left. We're going to have Zafman on that Uther, Zulz on the Vala. We're going to have Varakai on the Tyrael. Jamara is playing that ETC again, and Weezer again on that Nazebo.
And over on mouse control in the red, we have Praedin on the Rhaegar, Zeratul being played by Solid SMD, we have Stitches by Razalat, Hammer is being played by Thinwin, and finally Tassadar by Bota. Interestingly, this time we see Bota has picked up the Tassadar instead of the Zeratul.
Yeah.
This time it was on Solid. Maybe Bota is simply their preferred Tassadar player, so when they pick that up, that goes to him. Zeratul will be placed by someone else.
That rush for the Watchtower. Razalat not going to get anything there with his blind hook. They could see him. No engagement, no fight for it. Rhaegar's just going to come in and take it for Team Mouse control. Again, we see Regen Master for the Zeratul, but Raza actually going to get caught out here, stopped by the zombie wall, stunned by Jamar on the ATC, and is going to be the first blood. So SMD blinking in, cleaving, doing a little bit of damage, but not going to find a return kill.
He just wasn't even able to move, like stunned and then body blocked between 3 people and a zombie wall. He was just stuck. He had no chance of getting away there.
Wow.
And,
I really want to bring your attention to Tyrael's
Sure.
level 1 talent.
I've started very, very occasionally seeing this recently, but that's primarily just when playing playing pub games. But it's an unusual one.
Tyrael
Sure.
expecting to die here.
Tyrael's generally considered to have a bit of a weak trait because it's based on him dying, which is not necessarily where you want anything to be. Like, in an ideal circumstance, you don't die, but I guess it eases the pain of dying a little bit when you get this thing that activates and explodes and does a bunch of damage, and now it's going to shield as well, which is interesting. But that shield is outrageously huge. If you do get it,
It is 50% of their max health. Wow! I never even realised. We're going to see Twisted Fusion getting the mid-shrine, mid-temple rather, whilst mouse control picking up that top. Having a couple of frame rate issues.
It seems to be the common thing. It's that the first temples, the teams just tend to split them, because it's too hard really to force a good fight while still holding the other temple for yourself.
And still quite low level, so you don't have those big team-winning ultimates that you can just swap over, run to a temple with 4, have one person hold, or even as 5, leave one temple to not be fully captured. We see a lot of damage done in that mid lane. Razalat getting a good hook on the Zafman. Zafman just turns around and stuns him. A bit low on health for Stitch, he's just going to regen up a bit. A little skirmish happening top. Zul's taking some damage. As mouse control have, with the help of that temple of course, pushed in that top lane quite happily rather.
With the hammer in that lane, I wouldn't be surprised if they really managed to try and push that port pretty soon. It's pretty hard even in a lane of 3 versus 3 to stop a hammer doing what she wants to do, but we do see now they've decided to go and take their bruiser camp.
Yeah, mouse control's choice for this, I'm not too sure, because I'd like to see it taken in maybe 30 seconds. Maybe they're just going to take it and then leave it and not capture it yet. Yeah, and we are actually going to see that. Take it as soon as the temple comes up, so that it helps push out the top lane when they go for that bottom temple.
Now, wouldn't you just love to see someone on Twisted Fusion think, I wonder.
Well, we have the Uther Clairvoyance come and spot that out, and in fact,
he's going over there.
He is. They spotted it out. Jamara's going to steal that. That is naughty. That
is some fantastic game sense from the Uther. Just thinking, you know what? Maybe they did. In fact, he was probably thinking, they're probably starting to take it, and when he saw that they just left it abandoned, he thought, this is our lucky day, and the ETC strolls in, he takes it, the Rhaegar comes back, he thinks, what's happened here? My camp's gone. But nope, no, it was stolen, and now there is double Knight pressure up in the top lane, although one was cleared up pretty much immediately.
Rhaegar taking Farsight, so he can do the same thing in return, but he doesn't have his bonus regen in wolf form. Finally, the bottom temple does spawn.
Because of this Knight pressure up in the top lane, we do see Tassadar and Rhaegar are still up at the top, so they're going to be a bit delayed getting down to this temple, exactly what Twisted Fusion wanted to see. They're going to be able to get set up on in the area nicely.
Yeah, even with that hammer there, not able to get in and just siege up, defend it. We've got all 10 heroes here as soon as the Rhaegar comes in. Razalat does get caught out though, pushed back by Jamara, he's body blocked, he's zombie walled in. Manages to waddle away a little bit though, kept alive by the Tassadar shields, plus that healing ward. Bit of frame rate issue here. I am losing some. I'd apologise for that. We're going to have Clairvoyance come out, rather Farsight from the Rhaegar. Just spot out what's happening here. We're going to have Zinwin caught out, manages to Z away, first aid's up, not quite going to heal him past that last bit of health he's got. Jamara is very low on the ETC. Zeratul coming in, getting stunned out by the slide through. Vota falling very low on that Tassadar, managed to phase shift out, shield himself, but no, he is going to fall. As is in fact most of Team Mouse Control. Wow.
That is a huge fight for Twisted Fusion over that. They managed to hold the temple the entire time as well.
Yeah. And they're just going to take boss now. We see level 10 out, so they can't really contest it with only the Stitches and the Zeratul now. Hammer just coming up.
It's looking okay for them so far. It doesn't seem like Mouse Control are aware that this is happening, or at least they're not willing to go and try and contest it. But
I mean, Zeratul spotted it out, but there's no chance that they have of being able to stop this. Yeah, boss is taken.
Always makes me nervous to see that sort of thing. You know how scared I am about taking the boss on Sky Temple ever.
We're in a strong position. We have them all wiped. I'll be like, okay, let's take boss, and Critical will be like, nope, we're not taking it, too risky.
Unless their core is about to die and they're all dead, I'm not touching that boss. It is not worth it.
Does actually push that bottom fort in after the temple dealt so much damage to it. Won't quite get the tower, but
Tassadar shield keeps that alive a little bit. Although, do we have a mule on either team? No, we do not. So that tower is just going to stay there on low health until some creep wanders along and decides to just slap it down with its little BT stick.
We do have a push top lane from Twisted Fusion as well. Probably going to take that fort.
Yeah, that fort definitely looks like that's falling here. With more of them committed to it, no chance. No one's rotating up to do it. Then it looks like it might be a trade because they're pushing in to try to hit full bottom as well. Yeah, we're definitely going to see a fort fall on both sides here, and we have top and bottom temples spawning.
Yeah, we do see Putrid Bile again taken with the Stitches, coupled with the amplified healing. Top wall, in fact, and both towers going to be falling on the side of Mouse Control. Twisted Fusion picking up, nice little experience. Both put them well into that level 13, so they do have the extra talent point available to them. We see amplified healing on the Tyrael. The shield duration increase. Just focusing on the Tyrael build a little bit because we don't normally get to see Tyrael. It's nice to see. Interesting what he takes.
Especially since he's a hero that really got changed up in a recent patch. Just all he had was one talent removed, but that talent was a big part of who he was.
Yeah. Big part of the reason he was picked up. He could dive in from almost anywhere and then disrupt almost any ability. We're going to see Jamara get hooked by Razalat, but he's just going to slide out there. Power slide. Doing a lot of work here. Going to have the same build out from that Jamara ETC, the face smelt. Up with that mosh pit guitar hero. Not stage dive taken.
No, it's unfortunate. I do like a good stage dive. Then mosh pit can win games. It's as simple as that. A good mosh pit can win a game on its own.
Yeah. Solid SMD, he's been spotted out. Will he die? No, he blinks out to
If
safety.
Jamaru had been a bit faster on a power slider, a face not there, that would have been one dead Zeratul, I think, but not quite. He just manages to get away in time.
They spotted him out, the ping was there, but they weren't able to chase him down before he got a bit scared and blinked away. Now, Twisted Fusion are going to take the Siege Giants of Mouse Control. It gets far-sighted, but there's nobody here to contest this. I mean, solid SMD is going to take a lot of damage from Jamaru.
Though everyone is rotating down from mouse control, they might be looking to take something here, or no, they're
Or at
just
least
gonna
defend.
they're just gonna get rid of those siege giants and then move on from there.
The next temple should be spawning very soon. I believe it's just middle. I think it's just middle. I'm getting better at memorizing the full combination after the first couple.
I remember the first couple, and then that's about me done. And I know around 20 minutes of the triple temple. That's all I know.
Feral
I
Lunge
forget
again taken by the Rhaegar. It's nice to see. We're going to have Distortion Beam taken by the Tassadar. So the slow.
Nothing tremendously uncommon that we're seeing here at the moment.
I don't tend to take Distortion Beam on my Tassadar at 13, but I do see a lot of people take it.
Yeah, it's not I wouldn't say it was the most common, but it's not a surprise when it does come out.
Fort taken here from by mouse control there in the middle. Nice easy pickup. Wasn't really contested. We can see the Clairvoyance come out from the Uther. Jamaru jumps in. Is he going to look for a good mosh pit? He does actually. He catches two in that mosh pit. Zinring getting Ancestral Healing up. The Void Prism coming out. Sanctification from Verified. Oh no, it is Judgment. Sorry, I am getting serious frame rate issues. I apologize for this. Fantastic Ravenous Spirit though, cleaning up two more heroes, the Zeratul and that Rhaegar. Vota going to get caught out and killed as well. Definitely gets hooked into the tower range, but just gets stunned.
Now, as good as that fight was for all number of reasons, the thing I found most interesting, I've never seen a Tyrael caught mid-judgment in a Void Prism before.
No, I mean, that's why I thought it was Sanctification. It looked very odd.
Yeah, that was new for me. I knew it could happen, but I've never seen it.
The Vala's going to take the middle temple, and it was just a solo middle, as I believed.
Yeah, she can hold that just fine whilst the rest of her team pushes in. They hopefully should be able to get that keep and then back off. Yep, just in time, it manages to go down to the last few shots there. The temple continues to wail away. Oh, it's probably going to get top keep as well.
Yeah, quite potentially. Azul's looking quite low. Twisted Fusion looking to rotate and take that boss. It is far-sighted out by the Rhaegar, but they may still do it.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd be happy doing that, especially since they know. But they are 3 levels ahead, so there's only so much that could go wrong, I guess. If a fight is forced, they should be in a reasonable position for it.
Again, the Uther taking imposing presence, but on the side of Twisted Fusion still. We're going to see another blood for blood for the Vala. Makes complete sense. And a complete shield build by the Tyrael. We've got the shield on death, we've got amplified healing, and then nothing but shield talents, basically. I mean, he's going for full tank. ETC also going for a tank build, so neither looking like they're going to die, but Tyrael almost hoping get that level 1 talent to use. You can see solid SMD. Is he going to get caught out here? No, he doesn't.
I think Twisted Fusion were just waiting for Mosh Pit to come off cooldown, which it now has, so they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive here. They're looking to try and force something.
All heroic abilities are up for both teams. I mean, it's a great ancestral healing on the hammer that last engagement in mid, but it didn't quite work out in the end, since Zinwin still died, as did the Zeratul and Rhaegar in the end.
We're seeing both teams just move forward and pull back and move forward and pull back at the moment. Both kind of feels like they want to be fighting, but they're not quite sure. They don't really want to commit.
Both
waiting
posturing.
for the other team to do something wrong.
Both ready to counter-engage, but neither are willing to commit to engaging first. Solid SMD almost getting scattered out there. See some abilities going out, trying to spot out that invisible Zeratul.
Now the temples are up, we're going to see this little back and forth come to an end, and teams are going to go their separate ways to actually take objectives.
Yeah, Twisted Fusion taking that bottom temple and mouse control, settling for the middle temple. Far sight out by the Rhaegar just to make sure there's no shenanigans for that middle temple. In fact, the core taking a little bit of shield damage from catapults coming in top and middle lane, or rather top lane.
They're going to have to keep someone continually defending against that now, with catapults going in 2 lanes. That's no joke. That is a lot of damage on your core if you have to deal with it.
Twisted Fusion have left Tyrael on that bottom shrine and are in fact trying to take boss, but this might not go well for them. Hooked by Razalat on Jamara, who gets a good mosh pit on 2. Nimrin getting caught out here. Bota pops Archon, he's doing good damage. Good ancestral heal on the hammer to keep him alive. Zafman barely getting out of there with sprint. We do see the judgment on the Stitches, going to pick him off in the end. And Bota chased up that Uther, managed to kill him with the Psionic Storm. So 1 for 1 so far.
Right, little league. That would look like a lot more was going to come as a result of that fight than it did. Everything was popped. I mean, everything, and the teams went in, but only one death aside in the end.
And that Uther pickup was Mouse Control's first kill of the game. Twisted Fusion on 10 for 1 right now.
Oh, Zeratul gotten caught out a little bit there. He looks like he's going to be bursted down very quickly. That is unfortunate for him. They really needed him in this fight.
Yeah, and Twisted Fusion just going to be able to hold this quite easily with the Zebra and the Vala, pushing the rest of Mouse Control back, who are all very low mana as far as the Rhaegar and the Tasta are concerned. Their shields and healing very much needed if they want to contest, which they will not be able to.
Now the problem for Mouse Control is because they decided to go, they abandoned mid-temple completely, and they just went down to bottom. I mean, they're lucky. It appears like maybe they're deciding not to. No, Twisted Fusion are heading in now. I was going to say, because they abandoned the temple completely before, rather than continuing to cap it when they moved down to bottom, there's still a lot of shots left on this for Twisted Fusion to try and come in and steal. And it looks like they're going to try and do just that.
Yeah. Wow, odd Putrid Bile popped by Razalat just to try and escape there, but Jamara had already given up the chase.
I guess it slows and gives move speed, and he was not taking any chances. It is a low cooldown at the end of the day. It's only 60 seconds. It's quite possible they should be able to get that back up again before it's desperately needed. But then again, following this temple, Twisted Fusion might just decide to push down mid. In which case,
4%,
they will need that Putrid Bile.
4% damage done on that core. Twisted Fusion looking to maybe take the boss again. Jamaro, is he going to start it? No, he's maybe going to scout the Siege Giants on Mouse Control's side of the map. But Mouse Control is coming in, looking to contest.
He's a bit far forward, but no, just walk away, not a problem.
Yeah, he's going to push Razalat back a bit. Very good Void Prism though, on 3, Zafman walking into it to protect himself. Jamara just chilling outside. That is in fact Void Prism. Wasted almost. There was no follow-up, no engagement after that.
No, unfortunately they're lacking a Rain of Vengeance or a Divine Storm, anything really to just really seal the deal on a team fight with their Mason Void Prism. So unfortunately all it did was buy for time whilst they looked for a way to capitalise on it, but they couldn't find one.
Meanwhile, Twisted Fusion do re-engage that boss. It gets far-sighted out by the Rhaegar again.
It is going down fast, they might not be able to do anything about it. Zeratul's looking eagerly, wishing that this was a previous patch, but no, unfortunately not. He does manage to kill the Vala.
Wow, he blows the Vala up. Judgment on Razalat on that Stitches. He's Putrid Biles away. Jamaru. All the Twisted Fusion very low. Verakai does actually fall in the end. His first death going to shield his team for 50%. Huge shield there.
Huge shield.
Wow. Fantastic hook by Razalat on that Weezin Zebo, interrupting his Ravenous Spirit. Jamaru gets a good mosh pit, but it's only going to delay his death. Zafman, the only survivor for Twisted Fusion there, and Mouse Control picks up that boss.
Incredible turn there for Mouse Control.
Huge team fight. It went
fantastic fight.
It went 10-1 to 5-11 now in that fight, hugely favouring Mouse Control.
Oh, unfortunately, they're going to have to pay attention to their base, though. I'm not sure if Tastar is going to be enough to really defend against this. They have so many minions plus mercenaries descending on their base.
Luckily, the new minion wave has just spawned, so all siege creeps are distracted by those waves of minions, and Tastar is going to be able to successfully defend that. 88% core damage taken so far. And Mouse Control actually just pushing.
It seems like they're going to go for it, try and get this down in time.
Both teams are level
left on
20.
Tyrael.
You see Rain of Vengeance come out for Azul's, but yeah. Azul's not actually able to do much, gets hooked by the Stitches and just blown up by Sword.
With the boss on the core now, there's no way they can stop that in time, and that is GG. Fantastic win there for Mouse Control.
Yeah, behind the whole game, that one fight turned it around, got the boss pushed for the win. Shows that even on what's considered a snowballing map, victory is always a possibility.
Only reinforcing what I say, and that is, please, please, never, never, ever take the boss on Sky Temple. It's always a bad idea.